Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to discuss about the Spark architecture. It is a very much important from an interview perspective. So you should know about the whole Spark architecture, how actually it works. That actually we are going to discuss in this particular video. So let us start with the Spark first. What is Spark? So in previous video also we have understand what is Spark. It is a general purpose in-memory computation engine. So generally Spark we use for the computation only, for the processing a large amount of the data set, for the big data set, and for the big data solution, and for the analytical purpose we use Spark. So in nutshell, if I can say, if you have a large amount of the data set and that data set if you have to process, then you can use a Spark for that. So Spark generally we use for the computation purpose, for the processing purpose, that already we have discussed in the last video. Now let's understand the Spark architecture. So Spark architecture generally works on the master slave kind of the architecture in a distributed manner. So let's understand first with the example how this distributed framework works, and then we'll come to this architecture part. So let's understand how distributed framework works, and then we'll come to the Spark architecture. Suppose I'm working in one of the organization. In that organization, I got one requirement from my project manager, and he wants like 10 Tableau dashboard needs to be built. So what actually the project manager is telling, he wants a 10 Tableau dashboard which we have to build. Now if I will assign any one employee to build a 10 dashboard, that one employee takes 5 days to build one dashboard. So to build a one dashboard it takes a 5 days. Now how many dashboard we have to build? We have to build total 10 Tableau dashboard, then it will take up 50 days of the time, to build a 10 W dashboard. But my project manager wants it to be completed fast. So what I will do, instead of assigning one employee to build a dashboard, I will try to assign a multiple employee. So what actually I am doing, my manager, what he is telling, like we'll assign a multiple employee to build a Tableau dashboard. So instead of doing by one employee, what actually he is doing, he is assigning a work among the employees, like we have a total 5 employees, so all the 5 employees are working on the building a dashboard. Now in this case what will happen, my work will get finished faster as compared to if only one employee will work to build a 10 Tableau dashboard, it will take 50 days of time. But total we have a 5 employee, right? Now in 5 employee, if they will try to build a dashboard, it will take only the 10 days of the time. That is the hypothetical we are saying. So in this case what actually happening, multiple people are working to finish the same work. In this case in a less time only we are able to finish that work. So that is the advantage we get in a distributed framework. In a similar way, what actually happen in a distributed framework, suppose you have a larger data set. Now this larger data set, if you have to process, if you will try to process in a single machine, it will take a huge time. But if what actually we do, we try to divide this data set into chunks, and we try to process this whole data into the through a multiple machine. If we try to process this whole data through a multiple machine, what actually happen, within a less time, in a less time only it try to process whole data. So that is the advantage we get in a distributed framework. So instead of using one machine, we use a multiple machine to process a larger data sets. That's kind of the advantage we get in a Spark. So now let's start to understand how Spark architecture works. So Spark architecture also work in the similar pattern. It also follow the master slave kind of the architecture. So let us first understand. Coming to the Spark architecture, so it generally follow the master slave architecture, in which case you will be having one master node and the multiple worker nodes. So that kind of the architecture generally you will get to see. It works on the concept of a cluster. What is cluster means? So cluster, generally you will see this term a lot, right? So cluster is nothing but it is a group of machine that work together to process and analyze the data. Now bottom you can see, suppose this is my one machine, this is another machine, like that I have a multiple machines are available. If that are working together to process and analyze the data, that actually we call it as a cluster. You can see here I have a nine machine clusters are available, like total 9 machines are available, and that actually the group of machine, actually I will call it as a cluster. So Spark distribute the data and the computation across the multiple nodes in a cluster, allowing for a parallel processing and the faster data processing. Suppose you have a larger data set, and that larger data set if you have to process, so what actually you will do, you will try to divide this data into a multiple chunks into the multiple machine, and that actually you will try to process, that actually allow a parallel processing and the faster data processing. One of the node act as a master and the rest act as a worker nodes. Let's see how. So in the right side you can see, right, we have a one of the master node and we have another worker nodes. So let's see how actually this all the thing works. Let's take an example. Suppose in my case I have a 10 node cluster. When I'm saying a 10 node cluster means I have a total 10 machine. You can see here, right, I have one machine, like that I have a 10 machines available, 10 node cluster available. In each machine 64 GB RAM is available and 16 core each is available in each machine. So that is what I have a total configuration for my cluster. So if you will see, total I have a 64 GB RAM available and 160 core available. Now whenever user submit a application, right, so suppose we have a large amount of the data set. Now this data set, if you have to process, what actually you will write one code, PySpark code or Spark code. With that with the help of the Spark code only, you will try to process a this larger data set, right? So we have a Spark submit command. In this Spark submit command we mention the 5 executors, 16 core, like that, right? So once you will submit this Spark application, right, once you will mention this, in this case what will happen, one node will behave as a master node. So from this 10 node cluster, one node will behave as a master node. You can see this will be my master node, and you will also mention like how many executor require. So the other 5 executor also will try to allocate from this all the 10 node cluster. So you can see in the worker node, right, here we have one executor, similarly I have one worker node, another executor, so we need a 5 executor. So total we will be having a 5 executor we will try to allocate. And now each will be having a 64 GB RAM and it will be having a 16 core CPU. So how actually we'll get to know like on which particular machine this all the information is available, like 16 core is available, 64 GB is available, which particular machine is available and which machine is free as of now. So that actually information we get through a cluster manager. So whenever user submit an application, one node will behave as a master node. On top of that, resource manager, cluster manager will install. This cluster manager will be having information like on which particular worker node the resources are available. Based on that, actually try to divide the data. It will give information to the driver node. Driver node will divide the task into a multiple worker node, and worker node will try to process the data and it will send back the result to the driver node. So that is how the whole processing works. So let's try to understand. So it's very simple process in architecture wise. So you will be having a one master node and you will be having a multiple worker node. In a worker node only will job execution will happen and the process will happen. So as soon as the user, this is the user who has written a code to process a large amount of data, right? So this PySpark code, whatever the code you have written, right, this is nothing but it will behave as a driver program for you. If you are using a Spark cell, that also will behave a driver program for you. So what actually it will do, it will first call the main method of your PySpark application. As soon as call the main method, it will create a Spark context. What is this Spark context? Spark context is nothing but it is an entry point for all your Spark application. In a database connection also, if you are using a SQL, if you want to run any command, first it will go through a database connection, right? Similarly in a Spark also, if you run anything, it will first go through a Spark context. So it is a nothing but it is an entry point for the Spark application. Now this driver node, what actually it try to do, it will try to convert your code into a multiple jobs. It will try to convert your code into a multiple jobs, and this job actually it has to send it to the worker node. Now which particular node it has to send, where actually my process can be happen, that all the information who actually takes care, it takes care by the cluster manager. Cluster manager will be having information like on which particular node the resources are available and where the process can be happen, and that information actually it go gives to the driver node. Now this driver node actually this all the jobs send it to the worker node. Now in a worker node, with the help of the executor, the multiple tasks got created and it actually try to process your data and it send back result to the master driver node. So that is how the simple process happen.